We're going to do. Okay, everybody. I'm so happy. I love firsts in life. The first time I met JP was fantastic. That's our guest today, John Paul DeJoria. This is the first day of the year, the first month of the year, and I call it year one because 2026, the root number is the number one, which is new beginnings. JP, are you a numerologist or do you believe in astrology or anything like that?
I think what I just believe in is everything that's good and all nice things on the planet. That's what I believe in, no matter what it is. I know very little about astrology. I'm sure you guys know so much more.
Yeah. Tilt the camera a little bit more down, please, if you don't mind. There you go. I want to see you, not the roof. You're a
Okay.
very handsome man. We want to see you on camera here. We've been
Okay.
friends for a number of years. You probably remember more than I do. Do you remember when we met? How long ago it was?
It was a few decades ago.
A few decades ago. And JP, as you all might know, is famous for his new tequila Bandero. His past company was Patron. His current company is John Paul Mitchell Hair Products. I believe that's how JPMS, I think something like that.
That's correct.
He is a world traveler. He's a very kind man. He does a lot of work in Africa and around the world with his Peace, Love, and Happiness Foundation. I can't say enough fantastic things about him. He's a dear friend, and he's my first guest on this new podcast, the Global Kindness Federation, where we're bringing people together, not countries, not religions, but people. Because I don't consider myself an American. I'm a person. A French person is a person. We're all just people on this beautiful blue dot in this vast universe, right, JP?
People of Earth, people of Earth.
People of Earth. I call you people of Earth to join the kindness revolution. John Paul, JP, as I call him, as many of his friends do, is ambassador number 171 of the 15,472 ambassadors we have as of January 1st, the year one. There's a thing called the root numbers, JP. It's 1 through 9. Like my year I was born was 1954. If you add those digits together, you come into one. You always want to add all the digits so it becomes one digit. 1954 equals the number one, which is new beginnings, which is leadership. And
Okay.
2026 adds up to year one, coincidentally. What year were you born?
1944.
So 1944 is 10 plus 8 is 18, is the number 9. And that has a meaning because
Okay.
the universe is all numbers, you know.
Yep.
So you are, everybody listening, JP, coincidentally, because he's a jet setter, is in Antigua, Barbados, I guess it's called, right?
That's close enough.
It's close enough. And I'm in Antigua, Guatemala. What are the odds of that? That's pretty amazing.
Very odd.
And he's got another project I didn't hear about, but maybe he can tell us about it today. A resort? You're building a resort?
Yeah, we already built it here. It
You already
started
built
with the
it.
Discovery Company. Oh, yeah, it's really cool. Cool place. We're just expanding it out now, but it's really nice. Very pretty. One of the top beaches in the world. Turns pink a few times a year. Pretty cool.
Wow.
Good
I,
sand, yeah.
I hope one day I'll be able to visit it because
Here, here.
I love traveling and talking about kindness. Now, as you might know, or if you don't know yet, JP, this new podcast, you were on my last one, The Complete Guide to Happiness, where we talked about happiness. This one's talking about new ideas, new programs, new concepts, new inventions to make the world a better place.
Right.
And I want to hear your views on how you think we can do that because you're a pretty bright guy, or very bright guy. You've been very successful in your life. You've lived a full life. You've had some fantastic children and done some fantastic things. So I gotta believe that you have some fantastic ideas for the
Oh,
planet.
I do. I'm
Good.
glad
Let's
to
hear
share it
'em.
with you. Yeah, let
Okay,
me start
please.
off by saying a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, but they just don't know how. A lot of people want to start a business, but they think it's too complicated. There's something brand new that they could do worldwide. It costs them $7. That's all that it costs for the month is $7. What it's called is this Global, like GOBAL, S like in Sam, K like in Kentucky, SKU like a universe, globalsku.com. What it is this Everyone's got old clothes, old things in their closet, in their garage. They want to get rid of it. It's old and used. And they normally just throw it out. Well, there's some people that can make a big business out of it, and they have. Well, here's what it does. If you go to that globalsku.com and you go on it, right? $7 a month. And you take your phone and let's say you go in the closet and find an old t-shirt you haven't worn in forever. Take a picture of it instantly through AI. It tells you, and I don't know how the hell it does it, but it does. It tells you what that t-shirt sold for new, or toaster, or anything you have on there, what it sold for new, when was the last time it was sold used, how much did they get for it, and then there's you push and you go right online. Or if you say, hey, I want to go on eBay, or I also want to go on this other platform, right? It'll show you how to go on all those platforms. So you're actually in business overnight. Now, they sent me a sample of how this works. Two guys walked into a used clothing store. And right in the store for $2 each, they bought some old t-shirts. One just had Illinois across it, but you could tell it was an old t-shirt. The other was just an old t-shirt with some football on it, but old t-shirts. Well, while they were there, they took pictures of it, went to pay for it, and pushed the button. Once they pushed the button, one of them went before they left that store for almost $100. The other one went for more than the $2 they paid for it. So you don't always get instant gratification, but that's just one example how it works. Now, I wanted to see how it worked myself. So I called an old clock that was on the desk, and I told them, "Can you do this old clock?" And they did. And in seconds, it came up when it was sold. Like let's say, 2014, it was sold, and it was sold for let's say $125. The last one they sold for $10, and so my recommended cost would probably be or $15. I would just push the button, and there you go. It's really these. So someone from their own home can first of all go through your closet, all the old pairs of shoes, all the old clothes you have that you're going to throw out. Put them online. You'd be amazed how many just may possibly sell. It's just a matter of time, hopefully. And then you go in your garage, all the stuff you have sitting around your neighbor's garage or in their alleyways. It's amazing what people will buy. You have nothing to lose but $7. I think for that you get 25 or 27 sales, something like that. But for businesses, it'll cost them a little bit more depending on how many sales you want to get. So it's a pretty cool way for someone anywhere in the world to be an entrepreneur with just stuff they're not using anymore and just take a picture of it. And now
That's
you're in business.
That's really pretty incredible. One man's junk is another man's treasure. There's that old
That's right.
saying. And when I was living on the island of Belize, I put out I made a bench on the main road because there's just one road on the island of San Pedro, and I put give and take, and people would drop things off. Well, this was for free, of course, and people would the next day it would be gone because one man's junk is another man's treasure. That's
That's
a
right.
fantastic new thing. I'm glad to hear about that. I'll look that up as well. I'm also what we're doing together because you're part of this group. We're going to be doing micro loans where we can give a $10 or more loan to a poor person to start their business, buying bananas,
Oh,
buying
that's great.
chiclets. And here's the beautiful thing about it, JP. They don't pay us back the money. They pay it forward to the next person that applies, and that money they were going to pay back to us pays it forward. I think it's revolutionary, and it's going to help a lot of poor people.
Very good.
Yeah, so there's lots of great ideas out there like this one. That's wonderful. I'm glad you told me about it. Um, uh, so what else, what other plans can you think of? My always dream was, and this is kind of like what this show is, was to sit in a room with 12 incredibly intelligent people, all smarter than myself, and figure out how we could solve the world's problems. Because as you know, there's a lot of problems. There's too much
I,
war,
I sat
too much
Yeah, I
greed.
sat with the Dalai Lama about 28 years ago, and he and I, just the two of us in a room, were chatting about what can we do to make the world peaceful for everybody. And the answer we came up with is one word: dialogue. As long as you could talk to one another honestly and talk about what your problems, what your challenges are, what you would like to do, what you did do, but would have done differently. He says that's what changes the world. One word: dialogue. So perhaps I could be helpful. So if you're ever having some quabbles with your mate, or you're an employee or your boss, and something isn't going right, you're not communicating. Talk to that person face to face. Tell them what you feel, what it's all about, and then give them a chance to talk back to you. When they talk back to you, don't interrupt them. Wait and hear them totally out. And it's interesting once people talk, how things they thought were big issues aren't big issues anymore. They disappear.
I agree completely. Communication, words that we have been blessed with are a way of communicating. Unfortunately, I believe, and that's why I started this community, global community, is because we've lost community. Everyone's texting. But I tell people, don't text me, call me. If I'm busy, I won't pick up the phone. People are afraid they're going to bother someone by calling them nowadays. If you're
I,
busy, you won't pick up the phone, but the technology
that's
shows
right.
if they called, you're going to call them back, right?
Yeah, what you have to realize is this. What's happened here with the internet is internet has made human beings robots. Example, if you text somebody, you are texting them. You're not looking at them. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not, but you're texting them with your words and they're texting back. There's no interplay back and forth. Well, what you're doing is this. You text somebody, like me, for example, I have no apps, but when someone will text me something, occasionally I'll push a button and a little video will come up. But under that are a whole bunch of other videos under the same subject. The people didn't put it there that text me. It was, the internet, whoever owns the internet that put it all there, right? So what happens is now they have you read things that you're familiar with, and before you know it, 30 minutes later, you're totally off the subject that was sent to you, but reading these other interesting things. And they're good at this. So, in other words, that phone became a robot. So I tell everybody, whenever possible, shut your phone off for 2 hours. The phone can be great to communicate with people, but I am around people all the time that keep on checking their phones. Even people that aren't business people, just checking, oh, what did somebody say to this? Oh, what's somebody saying to that? Now they become a slave to their telephone. They become robots. So the first thing to do is shut your phone off during the day for at least a couple of hours. Don't even look at it, shut it off. If you're a business, it's a little different. Maybe you got to leave it on a little longer. But when your business is over with or before you go there, shut the darn thing off. And before you go to bed, do not look at your phone. Your phone must be off 2 hours before you go to sleep, or you're not going to sleep good because that blue light in there really affects you. So there's another good time. Shut it off 2 hours, not a minute before you go to sleep, but 2 hours before you go to sleep. So that robot isn't directing you to what to think in your mind as you're going to sleep.
That's great advice. There are more phones than there are human beings on the planet at
That's
this
right.
point.
That's so
And
true.
it's very, I see a couple at a dining room table in a restaurant texting, both
Yep.
of them texting. I often wonder, are they texting each other? You know?
Some are. No, Monty, some are. I've been at a table before with some teenagers on different sides of the table, kept on looking down. So I asked them what they were looking down at. They said, well, our phone, we're texting back and forth. And they're like 5, 10 feet from one another. It's crazy. In other words, look at people in the eye, then you can tell where they're really coming from. And not just a picture of them on a telephone. And you can't feel the vibe. You can see a picture, but not feel the vibe. You want to feel each other's frequencies.
Well, as you know, I'm trying to save the planet with your help and all of my ambassadors' helps from the insanity of humanity. And you
That's
and me have been around a long time. We know the insane things that's happened just during our lifetime.
Oh, I
Insane.
know. Crazy.
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 The wars, the violence, the catastrophes, man-made, and some nowadays, got made from the universe or what have you. It's amazing what's going on in the world, and we got a new beginning as of today, year
Yeah.
one, day one. So happy to talk to you. It's not easy to get a hold of you. You're doing so many things, so many fantastic things. And so we're going to talk about a lot of fantastic things. I'm glad you have the time set aside for me. I really appreciate it. Trust me. I know your time
Sure.
is extremely valuable. And you're in Antigua. That's fantastic. We're both in Antigua. That's hilarious. Do you have a new book coming out? Let's talk about that.
Yes, I do. The book is called, I've worked on it now for almost 3 years, 2.5 years, pushing three. And it's called Success Unshared is Failure. Success Unshared is Failure. Autobiography, John Paul DeJoria. Right now, you can go to Amazon and pre order it. It will be delivered the first week in April is when they'll be delivering it from Amazon. But Amazon's taking orders for it right now, pre-orders. And it's all about being successful. But unless you share it, you are a failure. In other words, don't be greedy, don't hoard everything, but how to be happy in life by sharing. But it also talks about when I didn't have any money, when I had no money, how I shared my time and kindness to help others out. And that helped me get to the next step. Because when you're kind to one another, people want to be around you. And you pull in energy from the universe and push it right back out again, which is kind energy. People like to be around kind energy. The more kind energy you throw out to the universe, whether it's in words or thoughts, the more you're affecting everybody else a little teeny bit. If a lot of people do it, you're affecting a whole bunch of people because what you think is what is created. You are the power of your mind. Someone said once, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. And it's so true. If you think, for example, well, I'm going to get a car, okay? Or this next year, I think I'd like to have a car. It's possible. Well, you're not putting out the right word. It'd be like this year, I am going to have a car, and you throw it out to the universe, and you don't think I'm not going to get one. What if I don't get one? You have in your mind strongly, I'm going to get a car. I'm going to get a car, and just focus on it. It's interesting how that thrown out to the universe sends sometimes the same answer right back to you. Hey, here's a car. Or, hey, here's one we're not using. Or hey, you just made a few extra dollars. You can buy a little car. You got to throw out positive, kind energy. The more you throw out, the more the universe rewards you. But when you throw it out, you don't throw it out for a reward. Whenever you do something for somebody else or even yourself, and don't ask for anything in return because of some kindness thing you did, it's the greatest high you will ever get. Now, I was born in 44, so obviously in the 1960s, I went through that period of time in the United States. And I'll tell you, there is nothing you could smoke in the 1960s. No weed you could smoke that'll get you higher than the high you'll get when you do something nice for somebody else and ask absolutely nothing in return. You just want to do it because it's part of your life.
Well, well put, fantastic, JP. When you talked earlier about the Dalai Lama saying one word, which was dialogue, I
Right
believe
on.
it's two words that save the planet, and it's be kind. And it
I love
reminded
that.
me of the story you told me about your mother. You were
Right.
dirt poor, and she gave a dime, and you
That's
said,
right.
"Why would you give that dime?" And so she taught you some valuable lessons. You're very blessed to have your mother give you such great guidance. What
That's
a nice
correct.
one.
That is so true. Yeah, it was when I was 6 years old and we were living in downtown LA. My mom took us there at Christmas time. And we saw little cars go around in circles, puppet shows, everything, the big windows of department stores in downtown LA in 1950. Anyways, and one of the things was a fellow there with a red bucket dangling from a stanchion, and the guy was ringing a bell. So my mother gave a dime to my brother, and I said, "Boys, each of you with your little fingers hold half the dime and go and put it in the bucket." And we did. And we came back and said, "Mom, why did we give that man a dime?" Because in 1950, 10 cents was two soda pops, three candy bars. And Mom said, "Boys, because that's the Salvation Army. And there are people that have no food, no place to stay, and it helps them out." Now, we could only afford 10 cents this year because we don't have any money, but we could afford 10 cents. Children, always remember, she said, no matter where you are in life, no matter what you're doing or what you have or don't have, there's always somebody that needs it more than you do. So always try and give something of your time or a little bit of money if you can to help others out. It pays back the planet in just tons and tons of kindness.
Well, I always say it's better to give than to get.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And when people get that, we both work in Africa. I've got 34 countries in Africa following the kindness
Yeah.
revolution. If anyone listening goes to africaisfantastic.org and we're just to watch two or three of our directors, their video introductions, you'd be inspired to be part of this kindness revolution because they're getting it over there. They've had a hard time. A lot of countries have taken advantage of them. Humans are humans, and they'll always try to take advantage. Unfortunately, we need to create a kinder world, and that's what the kindness revolution is all about.
Oh,
Um,
it's a good one.
And
Can I give a message also, if you don't
please,
mind,
as many
to
as you
all of
like. I
all of
have
your
all the
kindness
time in the
people
world.
in Africa? Okay,
Yes.
I about 20 years ago, maybe a little longer, I helped support a group that was out of Port Elizabeth in South Africa. It was called uh, Food for Africa, like food, and then the number for Africa, Food for Africa. Anyways, what we did was this fellow Gordon, a wonderful fellow, my buddy Alan, made this maze where you could have one meal a day, and then maze like an oatmeal type of thing. It gives you every vitamin and mineral you need. So for the last, I'd say maybe 15, 20 years, we've been averaging feeding about 17,000 little children every single day. They're all 1 day old to their early teens. And when we first started out, all their parents had died or were dying of AIDS. Now we have some that are real just poor people, but maybe their parents are still making it. This worked out so good that we just did a little experiment for the World Food Bank. We wanted to show them what we could do. So for about $4,000 worth of food, I bought enough, my donation, and Gordon and Allen went over there and applied it to one village of 500 people. And we fed them this every day for 3 months. The World Food Organization was there watching it all. All of a sudden, they found out that it works. And the people after 3 months were healthier, better. Their hair wasn't turning red, it still stayed black. There was no malnutrition. It was like, oh my God, this is incredible. So they said, guys, this works great. What does it cost you a meal to do this? It only cost us 8 cents. They were paying, I believe, 80 some odd cents a meal. They were blown away. They're now working with us to build a big facility that will start producing 7 million meals a day. We will work it up over 2 years to 20 million meals a day to be spread throughout Africa. So
That
there's wonderful things
is
going. It's Food for Africa. Go online there; it'll tell you all about it. Food for Africa, and again, it's food FOOD, and then the letter four. I mean, the number four,
number four.
and then Africa.
That is truly fantastic. I hope you'll introduce me to that man because we are getting funding. There's a Ghana, my friend runs a Ghana charity. It's being funded for $1 billion, and he's going to help
Wow,
me with some funding for my foundation.
great.
We've got a foundation in Africa, in Nigeria. Nigeria is Fantastic Foundation. And so I'm going to get a little funding from him, not a whole lot, but I need to meet that guy. If you can introduce me, that would be wonderful.
Sure.
And because I could help him, and I want to actually tie his thing into all the humanitarian initiatives that our ambassadors are doing on the Foundation for World Harmony.org, where we list your foundation and many others. We may already be listing Africa for fantastic. I mean, Africa, what is it? Africa
Oh
for
no, it's food
food for Africa.
FOOD, and then
For
the number
number four
four, and then Africa. Food for Africa.
.org.
Go
Or,
right on .com or anything. Just go right online. Food for
okay.
Africa. It's
Okay.
like a .com, a .net, a dot something.
Well, it'd be great if you can introduce me. But at any rate, that's wonderful. Another solution to feeding the world's poor for pennies, basically.
Yep, that's exactly correct.
But it's great to feed them and they need the food. But when you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. When you teach him how to fish, he fishes for life. So luckily, we've created a lot of programs where we're teaching people to make money. Actually, the grant program that we're coming out with, the Pay It Forward grant program is a way of helping them. Because,
Oh, wow. You know what? This is amazing. Divine intervention. You started that program where they can make some stuff. You show them how to do it, right? What
yes,
I just told you about at the beginning of your little podcast here was about globalsku.com.
I know.
Now they have a way to sell it. Now they can do what you're teaching them, and we have a way for them to sell it. Beautiful. All right, Monty.
Divine
Divine intervention.
intervention, exactly.
Divine
That's
intervention.
why what you said earlier, dialogue, which I
Yep,
don't like the word dialogue. I like communication. We were given
that's a
a
good one.
tool.
Same
It's
thing.
called words. In the future, we'll use telepathy. But right now, we have to, as primitive as we are on the planet, we have to use words. So
Correct.
dialogue is great, but communication is where it's at. Like you and me talking,
That's right.
brainstorming. This is like a brainstorming session, everybody
Yep.
who's listening. And
Cool.
hopefully everyone's taking notes. Actually, I forgot my pen. I got to get my pen to write this stuff down. But I'll text you if I forgot the names of these things.
Okay.
Foodforafrica.org or .com and something SKU. What was the SKU one again?
Yeah, it's global, GOBALSKU.com.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. As you know, I had that supporting our servicemen charity, which was the same kind of concept. Everybody has something they don't need anymore. This wasn't selling it. This was giving it away to a veteran. So you and I have been thinking, I guess, along the same tracks for many years. We just
Yep,
haven't been doing the same train yet, so to speak.
that's right.
And you had a train. Do you still have your train?
No, actually, I had it for many, many years. I gave it back to the family who were the original owners who had nothing left, but really wanted it. So I made sure they had their train back. It was really, really cool. It's a good thing. And by the way, you were talking about feeding people, especially in Africa. We started with Mali in the middle of Africa, one of the poorest countries in the world, and with a guy named Ye Samaki, we started a program there where we started taking all these villages where the villagers would have to drive, oh, sometimes or walk miles to get water, and they'd bring it back in these big containers. Well, when they brought the water back, you have a choice. Do you bathe with it? Do you drink it? Do you cook with it? Or do you plant with it? Well, with such little water, the answer is you drink it and you cook with. There's not enough left to bathe with, let alone raise vegetables. So we went ahead and bought a drilling machine, a used one, didn't cost that much. And we went to these different villages and drilled them a well. Now in the village, they had all the water they wanted. All of a sudden, their lives changed. They could bathe as often as they wanted to, they could cook, and they have extra left over to not only drink and eat, but to grow vegetables. So within 6 months, they were almost self-sufficient. And it just changed their lives almost overnight. We've done this so far to 48 villages in Mali. We just take our drill from one place to the other, to the other, to the other. All of a sudden, you now have food and vegetables, which is the nutrition a lot of people need, as opposed to just eating whatever's around there, because you could grow your own, makes a big difference. And that's a good program going on. In fact, even in the United States, when we do things, for example, like one charity we have for homeless, we're going to have 200 little homes already. Oh my God, about 700 have been built. But that one is called uh, Mobile Loaves and Fishes, the community. What we did was immediately I built them a giant garden so they could have free food. They have a little place to live and free food. Pretty soon we did this, and others should learn by it. We built a wood shop, a metal shop, a welding shop, a fishery. I even built them an entrepreneur center that teaches them how to be an entrepreneur, whether it's working with clay, ceramics, a painter, jewelry, just a variety of things. People said, JP, why are you doing that for homeless people? I can see you're getting them a little house there to live in and food, but entrepreneurs aren't going to. These are homeless people. I said, no, that's not true. The majority of their circumstances they ran across that made it that way. And that's just not how their lives should be. So we built the center, right? Anyways, for that center of homeless people to learn all this stuff, and some of them were already talented. In 18 months, they sold over $200,000 worth of stuff they made. Not to keep all the money. It changed their lives and let them know that there are things you could do and made them feel better and everybody feel better. Plus, they're eating organic food. So there are ways you could take real challenges like we just did with Food for African areas. Feed people first. And by God, try and chase it with a water drill. If somebody wants to donate a truck with a water drill on it, a used one isn't that much money, but you get a little team and they could drive it from village to village to village and change your lives overnight.
Well, on that note, divine intervention also is going to tell you, as you know, and as the audience might not know, that water hole you're talking about is called a borehole in Africa. And the
Yep.
Foundation for World Harmony is giving those for free to villages throughout Africa. And all they have to do is have a WhatsApp group for their village,
Wow.
a WhatsApp group for their school, a WhatsApp group for their place of worship, lots of ambassadors. The more ambassadors they have, higher the list they go for a free water borehole. And water is the second most precious resource on the planet. Air, of course, is first. And we're going to drill the boreholes or repair them near a
Mm.
school. So it forces the child to go to school and after school to bring home fresh water because the children and the women are carrying water for miles
That's right.
in most every village in Africa. So again, thinking along the same lines,
You got
and
them on.
the money I'm getting donated in January or February is going to boreholes. I hope to do 400.
Great.
I've got
Great.
a company that in Cameroon that's drilled hundreds of them, and we're working with them as our vendor, one of our vendors, to do the boreholes. So if you want to donate, you can donate to his program for boreholes or my program for boreholes because water is
Life.
saves lives every day.
Happy.
Unfortunately, my time is running out on this, but if you want to continue, I can send you another link, JP, or if you're running out of time, because this is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, let's just do another one of your podcasts somewhere down the way there, if you don't mind, because my family should be arriving pretty soon. I've got my daughter
Not a
there
problem. I
and my wife
appreciate the
expected.
time
But
you've given
I
me.
would like to tell everybody this, so I give everybody a message. The world is getting better. Things like you're doing here, Monty, by spreading kindness are the things that help. If we could get, I'd love to see you, Monty, get millions of people on your kindness podcast, your kindness followers, because of that many people, that's all on this whole planet are practicing kindness. It spreads. Enthusiasm is contagious. Being nice to one another is contagious. You'd be amazed. You get the grumpiest person in the world and keep on being nice to them. Eventually, they're not going to be grumpy. They're going to be a little bit different and okay because enthusiasm and kindness does spread and it's very contagious. Monty, thank you for having me on. And to all your wonderful, wonderful, fantastic people out there in your organization, I wish every one of you peace, love, happiness, and a whole bunch of kindness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, JP. I love you.
I love you too, brother. Bye bye, guys, everybody. See you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye bye.
Well, I was going to tell JP at the very end there, the three commitments literally solve all the problems in the world. Be
That's
kind to
right. They
yourself,
sure do.
the hardest, most important commitment. Be kind to all others. It's one of the Ten Commandments. You know, it stops the war, the violence, all the bad things man does, and be kind to Mother Earth. All of which is JP is doing, and I'm doing, and hopefully you're doing. I hope you enjoyed episode 1 of the Global Kindness Federation. I hope you're going to join if you haven't yet, and have a fantastic 2026. We're going to make some really great strides. Have a
Very good.
fantastic day, everybody. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye, JP.